As promised, we will have two presenters, and we agreed that I will introduce them both, and then at the same time, they will come on stage so you can welcome them with a huge round of applause. One of our speakers will be Tulasi Boma, who is the head of software development in Tesco. She leads enthusiastic engineering teams focused on delivering store applications like Till, Scan, As You Shop, etc. She excels in efficiently managing complex projects with a keen emphasis on engineering quality. Tulasi actively champions women's empowerment and serves as a co-chair within the Global Women in Technology community at Tesco Technology. And the other speaker will be Frederic Kuzel. Frederic Kuzel is the Director of Engineering at Tesco, leading innovations in retail platform, customer-facing channels such as tills, points of sale, Scan As You Shop, and more. He also contributes to Tesco's growth fostering for Central Europe technology hubs. Outside of work, he is a tireless explorer of Budapest's surroundings on his bike. The title of the talk, The Rise of AI. Please welcome our speakers on the stage with a huge round of applause.
Hello, everyone. As was mentioned, my name is Frederic, and this is Tulsi.
Hello, everyone.
And it's a pleasure to be here with you today. So, the screen is not updating here. Can we tech support? Oh, here we go. Excellent. Right. So, how many of you have heard of Tesco? Excellent. How many of you have worked at Tesco? Right. How many of you know that Tesco technology exists? I hope it's everyone, because our booth is right over there. If you don't, please go and talk to someone at the booth, because they'd love to inform you on what's happening within Tesco technology. We're going to give you a small part of that today. So what is Tesco about? Well, we're all about serving our customers, communities, and planet a little better every day. And that's something we can do through technology. It's a core purpose of ours to ensure that everyone is included and that we're inclusive in this ecosystem that is delivering value and supporting everyone. We have 3,600 stores globally, 34 depots. I'm not going to go through all of this. 1,200 technology systems. If you see the map of our technology systems, it's extremely extensive. Our API calls are approximately 1 billion hits per day. We do 200,000 online orders per day. And we have 850,000 new online orders at peak at Christmas, right? We do 62 million cases of product delivered to our stores each week, and that's going to become relevant going forward, and 35.5 million supplier orders per year. And that's one of our teams in Budapest. One of the things we're quite proud of is that we've saved almost 9,000 tons of CO2, and we're going to talk a little bit about this as well in our supply chain and transport. A little bit of technology. Over 3 trillion API calls annually, 2.7 billion payments processed annually, 40 terabytes of data per day in web traffic, and 4 million Tesco Till transactions per day in our stores. And that's an area that's important to both of us, because we're responsible for the customer experience in our stores. One thing you will not know is that is not for Hungary or Czech Republic or Slovakia yet. Okay, so we have something called the retail platform. 10 years ago, we were on very old and legacy systems. It was called Tesco in a Box. We worked with Oracle, and we created Tesco in a Box, and we went and dropped it in every country. Hungary is still using Tesco in a Box. So my apologies. You will see the new Tesco in Hungary in about 2 years. Right now, we're rolling out to Republic of Ireland and into the Czech Republic, but the roadmap is here. We're coming. The new technology is coming. It's going to be a better experience for everyone. Right. So who is our technology team? It was called out that there was 200 people. Well, 200 people in Budapest, right? We've gone on this long journey For the last 10 years, we've switched from being a retail company, bricks and mortar, to being a technology-enabled, forward-thinking organization, hiring agile-minded engineers and leaders to solve complex business problems. And you'll understand what I mean by complex in a moment. In the UK, we have 1,600, India, 2,500 or 600, Hungary, 200 it was called out. That's the hub that I manage. I also manage the hub in Poland, which is 300. Czech Republic, we have 100, and in other locations, we have 100 people. Those are all permanent colleagues writing code, product, program, UX, design, some QA, although there's no official job family for QA in Tesco because we really focus on automation, right? Okay, that's enough of a sales pitch. Everyone wants to hear about what we're doing, right? So, the rise of AI. We're completely a bricks and mortars company. So how many of you think we have an extensive use of AI and ML? Hands up. No one. What are you going to use AI and ML for when you're selling groceries? Well, if we look at what we did in 2016, we first introduced a data science team. It was part of the business, right? It was part of customer. And then we introduced it into technology. And we focused on a few key areas: price optimization, optimizing operations, intelligent edge, commercial decision process, decisioning, personalization, and forecasting. And then we opened our first GetGo store. GetGo is a walk-in, walk-out store. Tulsi is responsible for our GetGo implementation with Tesco. She's also responsible for our Scan As You Shop. She's going to be talking about that shortly. And I think what became the most important thing is in 2023, we democratized AI and started getting the data science team to educate the wider community through data mashups and engagement so that all engineering teams had the ability to use AI and ML where there was an arguable use case to use it. I took a poll before I got here. I sent out a poll to our engineering managers in Hungary. I had about, because I sent it out 3 days ago, I had about 60% responses. 5 responses are either using ML now, 2 of them in production, 1 of them in production in the next 3 to 6 months, 1 of them in production in, I think it was under 12 months, and then 2 other teams were looking at doing it 12 plus months. Right, that's about 20%, 25%. Now you can question if there's enough use cases for 25% of teams to be using ML, but the fact is there's definitely valuable use cases we need to solve our complex problems with ML. So what are the keys to this? The key ingredients for data science success in landing this in the organization is treating it as a core capability, as a platform. How many of you are familiar with team topologies? Systems thinking. Yeah, thinking in systems. Your organization is a system. You want to have a platform that enables teams to do things with as least friction as possible. You want some governance to give autonomy and freedom and mastery to teams to solve problems, right? While also ensuring that they're not going completely off the rails. And so we've landed this process in order to ensure that we're delivering business value. We created a product-led methodology, which is, all of you, I'm assuming most people here have product managers or product owners. And we experiment. So you're allowed to try things. You're allowed to try new things, and you're allowed to experiment with them and see how they work. And machine learning is just one of those things you can experiment with. But the most important thing here was partner and don't operate as a separate intellectual island. In other words, seems like, no, the pointer won't do it. In other words, data science isn't a closed fence, ringed organization within Tesco. It is an enabling team sitting on top of a platform to empower other teams to use technology to build ML models to solve real business problems. All right, so what are we solving? I'm not allowed to go into a tremendous amount of detail. What I'm going to focus on is price optimization, the top one, and optimizing operations, right here. Okay, I want to quickly touch on those, and then we're going to go into the democratized ML, which is something that we have in Tulsi's teams, and something I'm going to give examples of one of our Hungarian teams doing now. So the rest of them, the really complex one, is personalization. That would blow your mind. It's unbelievably interesting. There is so much math involved in that team. It's just amazing, but it's proprietary. There's a strict no-go zone. I can't tell you about it, except that it's amazing. Okay, let's get into this. Pricing optimizations. So we're a grocery store, right? Largely. But we also sell clothing, non-food goods. We also sell seasonal items. We also sell fresh food, and that's the biggest one, fresh food. So how do you optimize selling these and discounting them in order to maximize the customer sales without increasing waste? And by increasing waste, we all know that things go expiring, right? Within 48 hours, we need to start discounting them. Historically, managers would, I think we can discount that, right? Let's put a sticker on it and discount it. Then we moved to a model where centrally we'd push out mathematical models, which is basically someone with a spreadsheet would then come up and say, okay, now discount it by this much. So the challenge becomes, how do you optimize the discounting of products in order to maximize the revenue you generate as an organization, given the rule that you're not allowed to increase waste? Because we care about the communities and we care about the planet, right? The team spent over a year on this. They built many, many models, and they were running these models in production. 6,000 plus product elasticities, which is this. 6,000 plus of those, right? Modeled across thousands of stores at a store-by-store basis at different times of the day. That's 50 million decision points that are optimized to select the best price. Okay? Those are automatically sent to the stores. We change prices in the morning, we change prices in the afternoon in our stores. Okay? We do over 338 million fresh products annually reduced to clear. We have to minimize our waste, and we have minimized our waste. I have the actual numbers again, I couldn't give them to you. Millions of items and thousands of tons of waste have been reduced. So what we're doing is we're making sure that the right price shows up for a customer to purchase the item. It's a win, win, win. The customer gets a product at a discount at an earlier stage, so they actually want to buy the product. We ensure we're not throwing things out, right? And at the exact same time, the model allowed us to increase revenue, right? We're talking tens of thousands of tons of food not being thrown away. Just imagine that. It's entire landfills not being thrown away. It also gives us a more predictable schedule for charities, because now we actually, it used to be, we have charities, we have a charity program where charities come up, they schedule on a website when they're going to pick up what goods they would like, and they would show up in the morning and they would pick them up from the store to take to the food bank. But we never knew what was available for them because we couldn't predict what we would sell. And so sometimes they would show up and be like, sorry, no cabbage today. Sorry, no carrots today. Sorry, none of these things. Now we can accurately predict what we're going to sell and what we're going to have available for them in order for them to come to our stores and have it available for the food banks. All of this is on Tesco's website, by the way. We have availability on all these numbers. So, in a nutshell, we have a data science team who's been pumping out algorithms and models, ML models, to optimize our prices. Simple, okay? Saying, okay, that's not that impressive. Let's look at how we're doing operations. And bear in mind, this is maybe 2 out of 150, 300 use cases, right? Optimizing operations. Well, this is an area candidate for optimization. Right now, we've got some naive systems in place that have given us a 4% improvement in trailer filling. So we're moving less empty space. We're getting approximately 4% fewer journeys and 25% quicker creation of schedules. So if a driver doesn't show up in the morning, regenerate the schedule, right? Before it was impossible. You'd be scrambling around trying to find someone. It would take hours to generate these schedules. The vehicles are already supposed to be on the road. And we saved 9,000 kgs of CO2 last year alone. But let's go into something a bit more interesting, a bit more MLAI. Distribution center optimizations. Okay? So first we have to understand the historical data, which is the what, together with the modeling and the processes and mechanisms that generate it, the how. And this is something, you can see here, I actually use generative AI. I typed in Tesco store, Tesco warehouse in the style of SimCity. Right? So there you go. But you can see the actual Tesco warehouse on the left. right? And what you see in the middle, on the next one, this is called a pick by line. So in a lot of our distribution centers, we have forklifts, actually in all of them, right? In all distribution centers, you have forklifts because you're moving large cages of items. But when you actually get down to it and you're filling individual stores for a just-in-time delivery, which is essentially, if you think of a Tesco store, do you think it has a big warehouse in the back? Raise your hands if you think a Tesco store has a large warehouse in the back. And we can restock things. One, no one? Okay, they don't. There's a very small space in the back because vehicles show up at least once a day, if not twice a day. So how do you do just-in-time inventory delivery to the stores? Well, we have to understand how it works. And so what we have is this is called a pick by line. So people will manually come in here with a cage, and they will take items off that and put them into these cages for deliveries to stores. Now, the problem with this is that there's contention for all of these spaces. So someone's here, someone else comes up behind them, they need the same thing, they're waiting, right? And this creates inefficiencies in the system, just human behavior, getting stuck behind each other in a queue. We had the food queue, it's coming all the way out here, right? Same thing. We end up in this situation. So how do we do this? Well, first thing we do is we simulate the traffic, right? Like SimCity, but boring. And again, I simulated something with Gen AI. We actually create a virtual representation of our distribution centers, and then we have an AI model run through with all the actors behaving like people, right? And they're running through and they're moving products around, they're taking products off, and they're trying to get it to the stores in real time. And what do we do with that? Well, we start moving the things around. I mean, if I'm stuck here and you're stuck there, what if we spread those out by 13 meters? Now we're not stuck behind each other. Now this sounds simple logically, but it all comes down to predictions. So predictions are the ribbons, and the actual reality is the black line. So the AI models that were built over a period of time have now been able to predict the actual impact of changes in our processes and match them against the reality very, very accurately. So now we can start reconfiguring our distribution centers to actually provide better and more efficient delivery. How much do you think it takes to impact Tesco's bottom line? What's the impact of a small change? Let's just say the price optimization, for example, is measured in tens to 100s of thousands of pounds. Because when you think of Tesco, we're huge. We have 330,000 employees. Our wage bill is astronomical. Every single little optimization adds up to millions. Millions. Having the right person on the right spot in the store at the right time of day, millions. And then you spread that across 3,600 stores. Okay. But that's not it. I mean, we're just scratching the surface. Everyone's seen these kinds of things before, right? So that was distribution. Now, everyone thinks distribution also means delivering to your home. That's not the same thing. That's called fulfillment, right? And everyone's seen these. So these automated warehouses are part of the solution for getting food to your house, but that's not the hardest part. One of the hardest parts of getting food to your house is last mile. Last mile problem. Final mile vehicle optimization, right? We have 5,500 vans. That's 3.7 million kilometers driven daily. That's 15.5 times around the moon every day. Yeah? That's 200,000 orders, and we're now at 94% van utilization time. We're crushing it. We're absolutely crushing it. Our competitors aren't keeping up. They can't keep up. They're not investing like we are. We're investing. We've been a technology. We're one of the largest organizations to successfully digitally transform in the last 8 years. It's taken us, I've been in Tesco 7 years. When I joined, the Tesco Technology Future team was 150 people. Now, 2,000, 3,000. We're absolutely crushing it. Our competitors need to be nervous. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about empowering teams. So those are two things from the data science team here, right? You saw that they had about 7 different objectives that they're optimizing for. We only covered 2 use cases of 2 categories, right? Let alone, trust me when I say the most interesting one's not even there because we can't talk about it, but there's a lot of other things happening. Let's talk a little bit about empowering teams. And this is where Tulsi comes in. So we have something called GetGo. It's one of my teams. Tulsi reports to me. It's her team, and I'm going to give her the floor now to have a chat.
Thanks, Fred. Okay, so I'll be touching on customer experience. So we as an organization are looking to improvise the customer experience, shopping experience, and seamlessly provide customers a checkout experience, right? How do we do it? We are being innovative, trying to explore different options for the customers. In this journey, we have taken through GetGo. What is GetGo? GetGo is our walk-in, walk-out store, meaning a frictionless shopping experience provided to the customers. So no scanning, no queuing, and no checkouts. Just walk in, grab your products, and walk out, right? How does this work? We have partnered with a startup company, Trigo, which provides the capability of computer vision. And the customers needs to register for our mobile app before they start using the GetGo application. Customer walk into the store, they scan their QR code from their mobile application, and then walks into the store, continues with the journey. So we, from the customer's perspective, we translate the customer as a person, transform into a skeleton so that the customer is tracked anonymously. And the technology that we use with the cameras and the weight sensors to identify the products that are grabbed by the customers. A virtual basket is created for the customers, and once the customers walk out of the store, so we calculate the basket of the customer, pricing and promotions are applied, the payment is deducted from their preferred option that they have selected in the mobile application. It's a seamless journey for the customer and simple and straightforward. Let me take through an example for this. So let's talk about a situation, a peak hour, lunch hour, right? So a customer wants to grab their lunch, a meal deal from the Tesco stores. In a typical journey, they grab the items, they need to go through the checkout process. As it is a peak hour, it takes a long queue for the customer to complete their transaction. In this situation, it's just quick win, right? Walk in, grab your items, and walk out. Now, let's talk about the numbers, right? So what is the current status of our GetGo application? We are live with our 5 express stores, very busy stores across the UK. And when we have measured what our data says, right? So we have measured the customer shopping experience time. The customers using the GetGo application, we see a reduction of more than 30% of their time. So for each shop they do with our GetGo application, they are saving 30% of their time. And the customer feedback is super strong, right? 65% of our customers have rated us 4 of 4, right? And let's move on. So what is the future of GetGo? So as I said, so GetGo application, we need customers to download the mobile app. But there are a set of customers who did not want to download the app. Now,
More than 50%.
yeah. And they did not want to download our app. So we started ideating on, hey, what would be the next steps? How would we leverage the capability of GetGo application and support our customers for a seamless checkout journey? This is where the scan-free checkout came in. It's a simple ideation. How can we use our GetGo platform? And what happened is our engineering team, right, so as part of their Kaizen Day project, they were able to build this scan-free checkout. What is scan-free checkout? Right, so we have, as I said, we have leveraged the capability of GetGo application. So customers are tracked anonymously. Their virtual basket is created. Instead of customers walking out of the stores, so customers now walk into the checkout area, and in the self-scan tills, they just click on the start button. This is where magic happens. All the basket, the virtual basket that was created appears on the checkout till. So there is no hassle of scanning each product every time. So this has saved more than 15% of the customer shopping time. Okay, the best part, as I said, this was delivered as a Kaizen day work with a bunch of engineers. 4 engineers together have started on it, and we were able to pilot this solution within a week time to our internal employees.
So, touching on that, look, we spent 7 years building something called the retail platform. The retail platform is an underlying platform of enterprise APIs, microservices, different functionality, and we took the get-go technology and had it showing your basket by walking up to a till, pushing start. It would recognize that it was you standing in front of that particular till, and your basket would just flood the screen. Congratulations. Hey. Okay. That's what we're describing. That's live. 5 stores.
Yeah, and then customer just needs to complete their payment and walk out. Let me talk about the success story of scan-free checkouts. So, as Fred has said, so we are live with our 5 stores. Their get-go is already live. And so the customers who are going through this checkout experience feel that it has reduced their hassle. And supermarket chains, like, Tesco is the first organization who has implemented this scan-free checkout. Let me say that this is not just the end of our journey. We'll be keep inventing on improving the customer experience with respect to shopping and also checkout. Thank you.
Thank you, Tulsi. Okay. So I'm just going to cover off the one team that we have. I'm only going to give you one use case that we have in Budapest. This is actually covering an entire area of loss prevention. But we have one team here that is about to go live with something called Scan As You Shop Service Check Decision Mode. So how many of you use the guns, this self-scan, Scan As You Shop? How many of you have gotten to the checkout and had someone come over and say, I would like to scan some of the items in your basket? Okay? That's called a service check. And when you first do it, you're guaranteed to get it. And we do ratings. We're like, okay, how much do we trust you as an individual? The first time you use it, we don't. I mean, kind of makes sense. You had to use your club card to access device, so we know who you are from using your club card, generally speaking, so we know if you've done it, if you've used it before. So we have a team called Loss Prevention Team, based in Budapest, and one of their owners, one of the algorithms that they own is this service check algorithm. Now, right now, it is literally an algorithm, but they're implementing machine learning into it to better identify, because we don't want you to have a service check. Why would we want to stop you and have a customer service rep come over and scan 3 or 4 of your items? Worse yet, if you get a 100% scan, they're scanning every item in your basket. Unbelievably disruptive. If you're a customer who's been with us for 10 years purchasing stuff constantly, and we know that you're a reliable customer, why would we ever interact with you in that way? It's not in our best interest. And let me tell you, having you go through the self-service versus going to a till, it's 33% of the cost, 66% cheaper for Tesco. So we're highly motivated to give people a better experience so they use Scan As You Shop. Okay, so that's what this team is doing. Right now, they're getting ready to go live. They'll be going live soon. Their manager, I don't see him. I'm sure he's here. Actually, I was just speaking to him. They're using cloud-based Feather. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's Feather without the second E. It allows them to create models and then adopt those models on a daily basis with what's called a feature change. So basically a feature file that goes up to a feature database that the ML model utilizes to change its decision-making process on a daily basis. It's an Apache open source tool. And that team is going live soon. So that's one of the things. Back to the original point, I polled all of our teams. We have a minimum of 5 teams going live with ML in Budapest. Right. We only have 200 people. We have maybe 20 teams, 25 teams actually. So we're talking almost 20% of people. It's core to our ongoing business proposition to add value to the business and make customer experience better every single day. Really quick one. What's the store of the future look like? Well, there's your store, right? You have back office operations. You have the home. You have the warehouse, delivery. Things are getting personalized. They're getting frictionless. You're getting better. You're going to be looking at in-store navigation. Now, I'm not saying these are on our roadmap. This is a vision of the future store. I can't say what we're doing and what we're not exactly doing. And real-time stock availability in our home network, so you can actually see what you can get delivered. Okay. Other things that we get the benefit of, you get back office tools like out-of-stock alerting, real-time on-shelf availability, route optimizations, as we discussed earlier, planogram optimizations. What you see on the shelf is called a planogram, right? Shrink and fraud alerts, which is kind of what we talked about with loss prevention, and smart procurement and forecasting. That is actually a team that we have in Budapest as well, right? So that's another Budapest team, is smart procurement. If we're buying something from Hershey's, and Hershey's tells us that it's going to be 33% more, and we know all the ingredients, because the ingredients are on the product, and the ingredients are in a database, we have that data, and we know that cocoa has gone up by, well, lately 100%, but gone up by 3%, why are they charging us 30% more? And so it empowers us to have conversations with suppliers saying, are you sure you want to charge us 30% more? Because our math doesn't say it's costing you 30% more. This kind of stuff that we're doing in Budapest. So what are the learnings? I want to focus on the one thing here. Partner and don't operate as an intellectual island. If any of you, how many of you have ML in your organizations? How many of you have ML in your specific teams? Right? Don't just have islands of knowledge doing ML. Democratize, digitize, enable teams. That's how you're going to innovate your business. Thank you, and questions?
Thank you.
Q&A time, one of my favorite parts. It's always exciting, and I know for a fact that we already have questions. Usually we gotta wait a little till people get the inspiration, and if you still haven't asked a question, you can use the QR code and you can send in your question, and the speakers will do their best to reply. Okay, first one. 4% fewer journeys, 4% improvement in trailer fill. How big of a chance is that? Is it worth it considering the work and funds needed for ML AI development?
So let's just say at Tesco's sale, minuscule. I don't want to talk about the fewer journeys, but I will say we drive the equivalent of 15.5 times to the moon and back every day. So just do that in petrol. How much does it cost to fill up your petrol in your car? I think we're probably spending millions and millions a day on petrol. Just a guess. Might be exaggeration, don't know. But 4% of that, how much time do you think it's an engineering team of 4 people to build an ML model that's lasting for the next 10 years? Maybe optimizing it. You know? And they're probably doing 5 other things while they're doing that. It's extremely cost effective. Extremely. At Tesco's size, these things are extremely cost effective. We have scale. The smallest change, 1%, 30 million. How much is an engineering team? $500,000 for a year? Definitely.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Do you have data on what percentage of goods which are taken by customers are hidden from get-go? How do you prevent this?
Yes. Yes, we do. I mean, we are not allowed access. Because of GDPR, we don't want access to the actual video because we respect our customers' privacy. We actually take that very seriously. But we have a third party who can see the video, and they can give us some numbers of what they see without actually telling us who, where, what, why, because that's not information we want to know. We have those exact numbers. No, I can't tell you.
All right. Next question is from Laszlo. How accurate the leftovers prediction for charity?
I don't know. It's a really good question. So the price optimization work and the charity optimization work, the presentation on that was about 3-4 weeks old now. It's from a data mashup of 4 weeks ago. If you want, ping me an email, find me on LinkedIn, ping me on LinkedIn. I'll look that up for you. Laszlo, I don't know who you are, but if you want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, I'll see if I can find that out. It's a good question.
Okay. Anybody still has a question? You still have a couple of seconds to still send it to us.
Oh, so I'll do a shameless plug then. Tesco. Oh, wait.
Oh, here we go, here we go. How do you handle, is that PII?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Personal identifiable information.
Yes, that. PII data and other sensitive data which is gathered during get-go. You record every action of the people, their faces, etc.
It's destroyed. We don't have it. All we have is the concept of a basket, and we actually don't even have we have the journey ID, which maps to your skeleton. As soon as you transfer to a till, or you transfer to a basket that then goes on the mobile app for remote payment, we lose that. So we do keep it for a few days by a third party, which is kind of like an escrow, right? So they keep it, but we don't have it, right? But then it's deleted. So it's only there if we need to go back to the event stream and replay some events. It's there for DR, disaster recovery purposes only.
Okay.
There is no sensitive data involved as part of get-go application. Customer is treated as anonymous, and we don't save any customer data.
Yeah. You just get a GUID when you walk into the store. You're a GUID. We don't know who you are. It's only when you transfer to the basket that we push that GUID into.
Okay. What trends do you see in-store versus online shopping?
You know, this is where things get really interesting. I mean, you have click and collect. So this is really where it comes down to personalization, right? Which is the area that I can't really talk about. And that is the most powerful part about this. If, for example, you're a fan of croissants, why can't, when you walk into a store, your phone vibrate with the app and say, free croissant on us? Why not? It's completely possible. We had an experiment where people went in to take a scan as you shop gun. They scanned their club card, their mobile phone vibrated. They pick out their mobile phone. We just gave them £5 discount on their groceries because we know they're in the store. So here, have £5 on us for using scan as you shop. Thank you.
And that's pretty cool. It must have been fun, E2E testing, get-go, scan-free loss prevention services. And I'm going to add the question to it, was it?
I don't know.
Yes, it's fun. However, we have built a sophisticated lab where we can test this end-to-end functionality.
Okay, questions are still coming in. That's great. Smart shelves and cameras are probably a big investment for Tesco. Does saving time for customers translate to more sales for Tesco?
Get-go's an experiment. You're right. It's capital intensive. That's why it's in our small stores. That's also why when you see a 30% reduction in shopping time, it's because people are coming in for lunch and then going to a till. They're not showing up with 100 items in a basket. They've been shopping for an hour, in which case they don't care about the extra 30 seconds or 5 minutes. It's actually usually about 3 minutes in a queue to pay. So right now it's in 5 of our express stores. You'll notice that one of our competitors, a big online brand, has recently closed their magic checkout equivalent, their walk-through. We found other ways to maximize it, like scan-free checkout, where you walk up. And we're also looking at other options to reduce the cost of technology. The price is coming down. The price of compute power is coming down. The servers we put in the store, the prices are coming down. Do we really need weigh scales on every shelf? That's impossible in a big extra. Like how can we use and utilize modern technology to solve the complexity and cost problem of these types of solutions?
Okay, there's another one. Could be the last one. We'll see. What other interesting projects you have in Budapest?
Oh, dear God. So I want to try and name most of the teams. I'm sorry to the team here if I miss your team. We have finance, which is about engaging with invoicing. We have my product costs, my product deals, my product fuel. So all of those things are about managing the cost of the product with the vendors, the suppliers. We have the store experience team, which is the UI team for the tills in the UK. We have the shop app team for the TSAs and store experience. So, you know, if you want to get navigation of the store, that's coming to the UK. It's a new team that we're hiring now. We have the store platform team, which is the team which has every single till is actually a micro data center. I mean, it's got 32 microservices running in Kubernetes containers, right? It's got a service mesh with sidecars. Like the actual till itself has to be able to work with only power, and you have to be able to pay, which means everything that you need is on the till. So that till itself is all of their retail platform running right there so that it can actually take payments and serve you. Anyway, the point is that we have the team that deploys all of this in Budapest as well. I want someone to help me out here because I know I'm missing people. We have a fulfillment team here doing fulfillment logic. We have
Loss prevention team.
the loss prevention team doing loss prevention. We have the CE web team, which is I also own the CE websites, which is going to be modernized with the new technology as it comes out. So I'm sorry if your CE online experience is not the best here in Hungary. I know, I live here, I shop here. It's going to be getting better. I know we're running out of time.
We do have Central of Excellence team here in Budapest.
Yeah. We also have a Center of Excellence team here doing tech talks and innovating. All right, next.
Let's do a lightning round for quite likely the last question. With GetGo, customer will not stand on the line next to high margin items for minutes. Is that something what can be a problem, less income?
In the UK, it's less of an issue because they tend to have bigger baskets. So what we've noticed is when a GetGo customer comes in, they just grab stuff and leave, and they tend to grab more. So maybe it's not quite as high margin. But the UK also has very strict laws on what you're allowed. You're not allowed to have junk food or any kind of salty thing within 2 meters of a checkout. You're not allowed. It's illegal. You can't have alcohol. So all these things, like all this junk food that you see right before you leave, that's not there. So it's arguable if that really exists in the UK, but I can tell you the basket size is better with GetGo. People tend to just grab stuff, not think about it, and leave. Convenient.
All right, thank you very much. Exciting stuff. A huge round of applause to our speakers, please.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
And we'll continue at 2:25. We're getting back to the traditional headphone version. Stay with us. See you soon.